Family, the road is yours. Take a test drive and see the all-new features that elevate any adventure. Now offering 1.9% APR up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage or a 2025 Kia Sorento. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind that you can trust. Billboard Kia is the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillboardKiaPanamaCity.com. See us today.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage and a 2025 Sorento with $1,748 per month for 1,000 financed in 60 months. Quantities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Billboard Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers must take delivery from dealer stock through 6/2/25.
Mid-South Lumber, where they treat you like family. Locally owned and serving the residents of Bay County for over 45 years. See Mid-South Lumber for all of your DIY projects, including windows, doors, siding, lumber, and millwork. Are you building a new home? Bring your contractor in to Mid-South Lumber and meet with a member of their sales team to discuss your framing, siding, windows, and doors. Mid-South Lumber, the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. 717 West 11th Street.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions. Or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport. The best place in town to take a leak.
PLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. Get ready.
Let's play the game.
Sports Talk Radio will never be the same.
I just don't think that anybody's going to succeed in that system.
Bad organization.
We're just a bad organization.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Onion, pickles, onions, pickles.
Live and local.
Look, it's impressive.
On ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
How are we doing today, Panama City, Florida? You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes, along with Caveman Rick, and one of our favorite guests of the week, Banji Bomadella. Love when we're able to have him in studio with us. Got the fresh cut, man, or at least it looks like. I don't know, because you got the Dean Bozeman Bucks lid on, man. That thing is looking good. We'll be talking all kind of Bay County sports, high school sports especially, coming up at 4:20. Banji will be with us for the entirety of the first hour. Then Morgan Hilliard will join us at 5 o'clock. We've got some Would You Rather for a Would You Rather Wednesday. Then she'll be talking some college baseball. And, of course, we'll get Mo's notes from the Burnerverse. Every time I'm looking over here at Banji's hat, I'm just thinking of Coach Patton, who just retired a couple of days ago. So we'll lead off 420, talking about all of his wonderful accomplishments. Then we've got to find out what's going on in the world of softball and baseball, and figure out who is Banji's Baller of the Week. As always, you guys can call or text us at 850-215-6290. If you have any questions for Banji, he will gladly answer those. And we'll get into our call-in question of the day. But we are live and local here in Panama City Beach. From the CBC Construction Studios, you can go to cbcconstruction.com. They're looking for a few good men, or give them a call at 850-747-3815. Our call-in question of the day this afternoon, you get one athlete, just one athlete, and it could be past or present. It can come from any time. They could be alive. They could, be passed on. But they're going to join you on a boat. Just instead of it says boat crew, but instead of a crew, it's just you and the athlete that you choose, or coaches. I'll take coaches as well. And it's going to be for a day of fishing in the bay over here in St. Andrews. Who are you taking and why? Text those answers in. Call those answers in to 850-215-6290. We'll revisit this at 5 o'clock. But while we wait on some more comments to roll in here. I'll read what you guys have put to this point. LSU Jeff says Bo Jackson, and Brian Bramlett, who we were just talking about fishing before we got in. I don't know if he runs a charter. I don't know exactly what Brian Bramlett does, but I know that he's big into fishing. He's normally in these big fishing tournaments, like the one that's going to be coming up here at Bay Point pretty soon, which I'm blanking on for some reason. But what's it, Billfish tournament?
Yeah, just the Bay Point
Bay
Billfish.
Point.
Unless
Yeah,
they
there you go.
rebranded or renamed it. But
I think it's still Bay Point
that's
Billfish.
been living here for a while, it's going to be the same. You know, they're going to think of it the same.
That's the place for you to really plug in, Vanjie. I might have to take a show off or something, or do a show live from there. Me and you could just get down at the get down. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds exciting.
But yeah, Brian Bramlett, he's a heck of a fisherman. I've seen a lot of great pictures from him, and I know he listens every now and again as well. So shout out to you, Brian Bramlett. He comments underneath Bo Jackson and says, a buddy of mine took Bo fishing offshore in Orange Beach several years ago. Bo knows fishing too, he says. So how about that? That's pretty cool stuff if you had Bo Jackson on your boat. Jeremy Pridgeon, he's going with Tom Glavine, left-handed pitcher, Hall of Famer, World Series MVP, 300-game winner, and he's currently a middle school coach here in the area. That would be an awesome fishing trip. Yeah, Tommy Glavine, he's over there a lot at the public sports park, and I know a lot of the coaches slide baseballs over there too. Like, hey, can you sign this? I believe that I've never had a signature by Tom Glavine. I've had a couple of buddies who have done work at Tom Glavine's house, so I actually have I've seen some really cool stuff from within his
How you
house.
stopped yourself there, like
I don't know. I don't have anything. I was going to say I've seen pictures, but I just kind of rephrase it. And that's all I've seen is pictures of it. But I mean, he's got some cool memorabilia of his career, which makes a lot of sense, and I'd love to get Tom Glavine. So if any of you coaches, you're listening, and you see Tom Glavine, you're coaching against him, whatever it may be.
Too, please.
Yeah. Let Vanjie know, and also let me know so that we could get Tom Glavine. I mean, we're a Braves affiliate. I know that he did us a little dirty at the end by going to the Metropolitans. That's neither here nor there. Tom, Pete Rose can die, and now all of a sudden he's eligible. He's off the ineligible list and eligible for the Hall of Fame as soon as winter of 2027. Well, Tom Glavine's playing career is no longer with us, so the whole Met stuff, I just overlook it. It doesn't matter. Tom Glavine is a great one from brother Jeremy Pridgeon. Tyler Bishop says John Daly seems like he would be a blast. Yeah, I think you need a third for that one so that they could be the designated driver on the boat. Because if you're hanging out with John Daly, you probably don't want to be BUIing out there. Micah Scribner texting underneath him or commenting underneath him saying, I was going to say the same exact thing. He also says, my alternate is Anna Kournikova. I don't think an explanation is necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Maybe like 20-something years ago.
That's like a website, or not a website, but AG one day on Twitter had shared a page called Fish Balls. And that's what that makes it makes me think of. Just put two and two together. Put two and two together there. Sam Peebles, which, by the way, it's Sam Peebles' birthday, so everyone give a nice shout-out. Happy birthday to Sam Peebles. He's going to go with Gary Sheffield. He would tell him the story of how Gary threw Sam a ball, and his brother, I believe Anthony, knocked it out of his glove, so the person in front of Sam actually got the ball that was thrown to him by Gary Sheffield. He'd also tell him how he emulated his swing every chance that he got, which, if you played baseball at all, anyone who ever played baseball and you did not emulate Gary Sheffield's swing and you were a child during those times, what were you doing, man? What other batting stance was there to emulate back in the day?
When were those times?
That would be, he played, let's see, Gary Sheffield probably retired. When do you think? I'm going to say 2007.
I was going to say more like 10 or 11, but
okay,
I'm
that
probably
might be
wrong,
right.
though. I'm probably wrong. You're probably more right. You're more a baseball guy.
Yeah, but I mean, remembering when someone retired is not always. 2009.
Okay.
2009.
In
So
between both of ours.
Yeah, exactly. Right there in the middle, brother. Right there in the middle. So, but yeah, I would say that he was more popular late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, his time, especially for me, Braves, and I remember
95.
him more Braves, right? Braves, and then also Florida Marlins. Those were, I mean, his career was from 1988 to 2009, so a healthy career right there as well. And now his son, he's playing for Florida State. He's playing for Florida State, and he has the same batting stance, which is just, please get to the league, bro. I just need to see that batting stance one more again. Come on. But yeah, we'll keep it rolling here. Let's see who's next. We've got, Doc A chiming in. Luka and a case of PBR. Luka Doncic. That is wild to me. Because so Doc A, this guy right here, Steve Alexander, he's in the Fantasy Sports Hall of Fame as a writer. Yeah, so I mean, he's a big deal, if you will. I wonder why Luka was
he's
his
a basketball
choice.
guy.
He is, right, 100%.
Yeah, you could have chose any.
I mean, we're talking, you can go to Bill Russell and have that, like, a conversation with Bill Russell. Also, a cool fun fact about Doc A is, well, he's great at, what's he call himself, a hack at Golden Tee, the little golf game with the ball in it that you'll see at restaurants and whatnot. But he used to collect shoes, not in the way that we would collect shoes, like I need the latest J's or whatever it may be, but from players. He would get sometimes just one pretty cool stuff. He's on the Inside Drive Tuesdays at 11:20. So if you ever have nothing going on, just tune into the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Doc A's on there, and great at talking basketball, talking all things basketball, but also has really cool stories along the way. James Lehman. This would be a fast cast for sure. Nolan Ryan. That's not a bad one right there. Barrett Townsend's going to go with Baker Mayfield. He said, dude would be so much fun. I think Baker would be a fun one to, yeah. I mean, as long as you guys got some good coordinates in your fish finder, then you should be good to go. And then last but not least, Scott Price chiming in. He's going to take John Daly. 850-215-6290. You get one athlete, past or present, to join your boat for a day of fishing in St. Andrews Bay. Who are you taking and why? I'm going to go with one athlete and one coach. They're not going to be on the boat at the same time. When I first read this question, I love history, and I love people who we look at as great men, great Christian men, to kind of look for, to have the conversation, to look for wisdom, and then also, if the guy's involved in sports, then I'm getting sports history, and I'm getting, just a very influential human being. And a lot of people might think that I'm setting up to say Bear Bryant or something like that. It's along those lines. It's a great coach, one of the greatest of all time. And actually, to some extent, I've been learning a lot more about this in the last few weeks. I'm related to this guy down the road. It's very far for me, but he's related. My Meemaw's maiden name was Carson. She was related to the Bowdens, and there was a lady in our family who would always send Bobby Bowden letters to invite him to the family reunions. Well, one day she was in the hospital. I believe it was in Tallahassee. She ran into him, met him, and he asked her about the last name Bowden, and like they just had a conversation. It's like, yeah, I get those letters every year, and we're just always doing something else other than being able to go. So I can't sit there and prove that or any of that. I'm just going off some old folklore, which is pretty cool. Bobby Bowden, it would be my choice to go fishing with if I had a day to spend with Bobby Bowden. Plus, if I'm talking to someone dead, then it's also like, so, well, what's the next part like? You know what I mean? That would probably be my first question. I mean, obviously my brother would be a great one to bring with me. But my athlete who I would go with, a hunter and fisher himself. I almost thought Jeff Francoeur, but I'm going to go with former Brave. Chipper Jones. Chipper Jones is, I think that would be a heck of a fun time on a boat. Banji, who would you go fishing with?
See, I was thinking more of like the enjoyment parts. In terms of like, conversation, and also, I mean, the fishing is cool and all, but I was just thinking like all day, who would I have most enjoyment with? And I was just thinking, well, I don't know if legally I could bring some of the stuff that would get him talking, but Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, LT.
And I don't know what I have to bring, because, he did a lot of things back then.
Yeah.
And, maybe he still does them now, but, the stories you could get out of him.
I love how you went to a big name in the NFL, but it's not really in either one of our true watching times, you know, and it's not from one of your teams or anything like that. I love that answer, Banji. Caveman Rick, and you're probably you are the biggest fisherman of the three of us here in the room. Who would you take with you and why?
That's tough, man. I've been thinking about that. I really don't have a great answer. I got maybe an honorable mention, something that you probably wouldn't think I would think of.
You're going John Tortorella.
No. Actually, the Flyers did get a new head coach though today.
Yeah, I've got it on the docket for you to talk about.
So that's cool. And a good guy too. Like to kick some tail when he played in the league. But here's kind of a messed up one. I don't like to do this for a couple reasons. One, I definitely want to outfish the guy. I want to embarrass him, right? Because I'm pretty good at fishing, I think, right? I know I'm good at fishing. Let's put it that way.
Don't eat too much.
Good enough to where, I'm not the kind of person that brags or boasts about himself. Like when it comes to stuff, I got a mouth on me. I know that, right? And I can disparage a lot of stuff and people with our mouth. We all know that. Another thing I'm really good at.
Yeah, we heard that yesterday.
Yeah, something I'm really good at is fishing, and I just know this just because it's something I'm passionate about. And ever since I was a little kid, I've done better than a lot of other people, older than me, more experienced than me, blah, blah, blah. So a person that likes to fish a lot actually isn't on TV anymore as of this coming year on Fox. But Jimmy Johnson, he's a big fisherman, right? Okay. Living down south. So,
no way. Yeah. That is not your answer.
That's what I said. It's like an honorable mention. It's not my answer.
Okay.
Right? But it's
are you doing that just to leave Jimmy Johnson at sea or something?
There's a couple things I could do there, right? One, I could fish with him, and then I could, embarrass him and make him look bad and do better than him, right?
All right.
That'd be the case, sorry. And then, if I wanted to, I can, just shove him in the water, throw him, make shark bait out. I don't know, whatever. You just do something stupid, but, ways that I can, get back to the Dallas people, Dallas fans.
Oh, there you go. So that's your honorable mention.
That's an honorable mention. Yeah,
all right.
I'll think about a better one because I got a whole bunch of my ahead that I could do, and I want to get the right one.
And that'll work for me because Wright State Chris has got a question for you. We'll revisit this at 5 o'clock. Wright State Chris wants to know who would Caveman take on his boat of these four: Kurt Schilling, Darren Dalton, John Kruk, or Lenny Dykstra.
Oh, man, it's going to be between Kruk and Dykstra.
Gotta be.
Because those guys...
What about if I take Darren Dalton out and add Mike Schmidt in?
Still either Kruk or...
Really?
Who's the last one? Yeah.
Kruk or Dykstra.
Or Dykstra, because I think they would have better stories. Schmidt is a better ball player out of probably all of them, the greatest out of them, you know? Yeah. But I think, John Kruk, he's kind of a character... kind of a dude that, he mashed home runs, but wasn't physically fit. All of his stuff was done, we joked around before, on cholesterol, not steroids or anything like that,
Dude, have you ever seen that video of him getting ready for spring training, and he's kind of narrating his own video?
I don't think so.
Oh, I'll have to show that to you. He's a lot of guys, when they start gaining weight, I forget exactly what he says, but he's like, for me, that's where my power come from.
Yeah, right? And then, Dykstra, he's been in jail. So, the kind of stuff that he could tell you about,
There you go. So you're prepared for a long stay somewhere.
There would be, some great stories, I'm sure. So, yeah, nails, man. Lenny Dykstra, I seen something about him not too long ago wearing some retro, Phillies uniforms. I wonder if he's actually out of jail now, because I thought he was still in.
Well, we're going to find that out.
Tax evasion and some other stuff.
Also, he's been... You say you're keeping up with his jail time?
Well, he's a athlete, man. He's from, he's a Philadelphia Philly. Got to know your guys.
Yeah. So Henry Ruggs, you're keeping up with him too?
You watch games though.
Yeah, I think he's eligible for parole.
Why do you know that?
It's because of the internet. Right. It's not like I'm sitting there searching up Henry Ruggs. But apparently he's been just like when Mike Vick was locked up, and I'm so sorry to interrupt you. You're cool. But when Mike Vick got locked up, and he's working out, and people are keeping up with him and saying he's probably going to make a comeback. People have been saying the same thing about Henry Ruggs. My thing is those are two different worlds apart. One guy did something that he shouldn't have done in Mike Vick and allowing a dogfighting ring to go on. Henry Ruggs, which it didn't mean to do what he did, but still did it, and someone lost their life. And I believe a dog died in that one as well. Yeah. So I think at some point, I don't know, there's been a lot of people in the NFL, I say a lot, maybe 13, 14 people who have, what do they call it these days? The kids unalived someone and continue to to play football. So we'll have to see.
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis. Woo. So basically, I just have to be very careful talking about the whole Henry Ruggs situation. Why? Not because of anything about Henry Ruggs, because I'm an Alabama fan, so it sounds like a pro Henry Ruggs. It's like, you're just saying that because you're an Alabama fan. It's
But
like,
I mean, that's the thing. If you're a fan, right? Like, so the Lenny Dykstra thing.
Yeah.
If you watch Phillies games, which I do, there's going to be times where they're going to bring up Lenny Dykstra, whether somebody, like matches like one of his numbers for the Phillies, or there's a particular date, that has something to do with him. So then they'll bring him up, and then they'll say, oh, yeah, Lenny Dykstra, blah, 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 this or that, and mention maybe he's in prison. So, like, just through osmosis, basically, not even, like, looking this stuff up, just paying attention to a game, you might get nuggets of information like that to just sink in, and then you just, you got that intel, that info. Retention.
I don't know. There's a lot on Lenny Dykstra.
The thing about Henry Ruggs,
like
too,
sexual assault.
Like, I don't think Henry Ruggs will make it, because at least Mike Vick, he had a career in the NFL before, like, this happened to him. You know what I mean? Like, Ruggs' stint in the NFL was very, very small. And
What did he play? Just a year,
just
a
like
year
a
and some
season.
change.
Just like a season.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, just having one season in and then being gone for a few years, I think it's a lot harder to come back than if you've played in the league for a handful of years. You're accustomed to the league, the speed of the game, yada, 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 and then you come back like Mike Vick did. I think Mike Vick, plus we know what kind of an athlete Mike Vick was. I mean, way more of an athlete than Henry Ruggs.
The NFL's so iffy with stuff like this, though, because then, like, I think of, like, a player like AB where he hasn't technically...
retired?
Yeah, but he hasn't, like,
He hasn't, like, officially retired.
He's not getting a job again.
But can we hear Benji out on this? I'm loving where this is going.
Because, see, that's why I'm being careful, because I'm just like,
did
did he technically ever do anything wrong? Right? Like,
Right.
He had some incidents where...
Stripping and then walking off the field?
I mean,
yeah, but legal. We're talking about legally.
Oh, yeah, I'm just talking about the legal.
There's nothing illegal to just, take the
Quit your
pads
job.
off
A lot of people quit their job all the
exactly,
time.
and do it in a fashionable fashion.
Exactly.
I love that.
So I'm thinking, like, if he could make a comeback, which, I mean, after the Bucs, he still hasn't been in the NFL. I feel like there's a team they would, if they're down on their laurels, as people say.
Yeah.
Bottom of the barrel, somebody will call AB.
So you're saying AB gets back into the league before Henry Ruggs
does.
How do you feel about that? I think that's a very fair assessment. Essentially saying neither one of them will be back in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just neither one of them's going to get a shot again.
I mean, Henry Ruggs is 26 years old, which is rather, for having, 3-4 years off now, which he played 12. He started 12 games, 13 games in 2020, 7 games in 2021. So 20 total games. I think that the lack of experience like Ohio Brad just texted in. Vic was the most popular player in the league. Yeah. Then completely opposite, right? Was the least popular player in the league for a good little while there as well. So, I wrote a paper in college on Mike Vick and, like, his comeback and everything before, like, how I thought that the comeback was good for the game, because I'm a person who believes in second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances, and so same for Henry Ruggs, but it's also one of those, it's just a different line. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? And then anytime that you're, drinking and you get behind that wheel, you don't know what's going to happen. You could get into a wreck, and this isn't sticking up for the drunk drivers, but you could get into a wreck with someone who was texting and driving. Guess what? You're still bamboozled, buddy, because the decisions that we make. And that's, at the end of the day, we've got to be accountable for our actions. And, no human being is perfect, but it is what it is. A
poll question. Who has a better chance of getting back in the league, AB or Henry Ruggs?
I'm going to make a note of that. We'll talk about that in the break. I think that will be a poll at some point in time this week. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Coming up next, we're going to be talking Bay County High School sports with Benji Bombadella.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd.
The Celtics are two things. One, excellent front office. Secondly, the formula. And I'm watching Tatum, and he's such a nice guy. And he is such a collaborative guy that the beneficiary, sometimes he just melts into the fabric.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Wednesday. Mostly sunny the rest of the day with a gentle breeze at 11 miles per hour out of the southwest and temps near 80. Tonight we will have slight fog and mostly clear skies and be warm at 74. Slightly foggy in the morning followed by mostly sunshine tomorrow and a high 81. Some sun Friday with a temp of 83. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards in Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
The fight for the 2025 season is on, and every win brings Braves country a little closer.
And the 1-2 pitch. And he is toast. Swung on and missed. Chris Sale starting out sharp again.
Tonight, be here for Atlanta Braves baseball live from Truist Park as the Braves look for a big division win against the Washington Nationals.
Braves at home versus the Nationals. Coverage starts at 6. First pitch 6:15. You're home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. He stuck his head in the microwave and chanted Hot Pocket. Hot Pocket! Caveman Rick is part of the Afternoon Underdogs.
Hope you're drunk or heading home to a trailer.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back here in the Doghouse, which is built by CBC Construction. You can go to cbcconstruction.com. They are looking for a few good men. You can also give them a call at 850-747-3815. I'm David Hayes, along with Benji Bombadella and Caveman Rick. We've added another name to the who gets back into the league first. Right now we've got Antonio Brown, Henry Ruggs, or Colin Kaepernick. It doesn't matter. All names. So let's keep it going today, folks. We've got 2 call-in questions of the day for you. You get 1 athlete, past or present, to join your boat crew for a day of fishing in the St. Andrews Bay. Who are you taking and why? The second one is text us some athletes who have maybe found trouble along the way. They're not currently playing in the league, but maybe they got a little bit more left in the tank. Right now we've got AB, Antonio Brown, Henry Ruggs, or Colin Kaepernick. Right now in the studio with us, Banji Bombadella. He's your local sports reporter for the Panama City News Herald. Does such a phenomenal job keeping us up to date here at ESPN Northwest Florida and anyone who's reading the Panama City News Herald. But Banji, let's start off with what we talked a little bit about in the opening segment. Jeff Patton, head coach for the Bozeman Bucks baseball team, was the athletic director a year ago, gave that role up to kind of focus more on baseball, but he is retiring after a great career there. Tell us from your side your feelings, your thoughts, your takeaways from this.
It's tough because I actually saw him today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I interviewed him about it because I was like, I want to see you in person because this might be my last time seeing you in person.
And he's such a great guy. You could just feel the energy when you're around him.
Man, I told him, I was like, he's probably my favorite coach in all of Bay County. No, nothing against all the other coaches, but like the warmth, the feeling that he gave me, how welcoming he was when I first got here, it was just amazing. And 20 years over there at Bozeman. He's actually been coaching in Bay County for 29 years. So it's actually incredible the fact that he took that job at Bozeman in 2006, and his first season they were 11-14. That and thinking back on it, 20 years later, you think like that's the worst season he ever had, 11-14. Some coaches would love something like that. Only 3 games under 500, but 20 years later, over 400 career victories, 18 straight playoff appearances, I believe 14 region final appearances. He's been to state championship games. You know, he told me that, you know, all I've been chasing was that state championship, but I'll never get it. And it kind of, we've all been there when we're kids or when we're young athletes and we're all chasing after winning something, anything. You know, we're tired of the runner-up trophy, but the fact that after 20 years, he never won that state championship, but he was like, I don't need that validation. Winning a state champion, well, I'm already and it's true because 20 years of success. I mean, the amount of times that you can go to a Bozeman game and you see former players there. You see a big crowd. There's always a big crowd at Bozeman because it's just the culture that he's formulated, the culture that he's instilled over there. And like Coach Patton, I just got to say thank you for everything because those games at Bozeman, they were always fun. They were always good. I mean, I can just think about the countless comebacks I've witnessed with my own eyes over there and just the resilience I've seen from those teams. So hope he enjoys retirement. I hear he's going to, you know, be at home more, you know, be with the family more and, you know, possibly just start traveling throughout the country and see where it takes him. So I'm just happy for him and congrats on retirement.
Yeah, man. Congrats on your future endeavors as well, Coach. You're so right, though. Anytime that you're around him, you just feel at home, you feel welcome. And I also would venture to say Bozeman's been in a little bit of a tough spot coaching-wise, meaning a couple of weeks ago, maybe not even a full couple of weeks ago, Matt Granville, the basketball coach, stepping down. Yeah, they lost Bronson Sweat after a year, but they've already made that hire with Kevin Pettis. So here they are losing a good chunk of their coaching organization, coaching staff rather, and I would venture to say that especially while he was the uptick, it wasn't just in baseball. Football started growing to new heights. Basketball, better and better each year. Softball, just in a dogfight last night with North Bay Haven, just back and forth fireworks. I believe on the News Herald you called it a what did you call it?
For the
Arnold North Bay Haven game, not the Arnold, the North Bay Haven Bozeman game.
25-run thriller?
Thriller, yeah, but there was a word that I was like, ooh, that's I like how you use that. I'll just have to look it up. I'll just have to look it up.
Or just read the article at the PanamaCityNewsHerald.com.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, absolutely. But I need to go back and look up the word that I need to go to Panama City News Herald to look up the word that I'm trying to think of. That is it's an obvious word to use with a game like that, you know. But I just love seeing you use it because I think I used fireworks for this right here, like for our purpose, for your questions and whatnot. But yeah, so I think having a great athletic director is huge. And how often do you see those guys when you're going to these games just sitting out there at the gate? You know, they have to wear so many hats and. Just a great guy there in Coach Jeff Patton. Moving on to some softball here, and we'll talk about it while I'm going to the Panama City News Herald website. Tell us a little bit about that game between North Bay Haven and Bozeman last night.
Yeah, the Class 2A regional semifinal between number one North Bay Haven and number 4 Bozeman. This is the third time these two teams have met this season. Before the previous two meetings, North Bay Haven have defeated Bozeman 25-5 in combined points.
Slugfest was the word that you used.
Man. But yeah, that game, when I tell you, I was over at the football field. I was actually interviewing Coach Andy Siegel for the football team. They just finished up with the spring practice that day. And I walk over to the game, and I already just hear cheers. I'm just like, okay, what's happening? Bases loaded in the top of the first inning for Bozeman. Bases loaded. Bases loaded. And I was just like, wait, no way. And then I just see Addison Mallon, the North Bay Haven pitcher, walks the next two batters. And I'm just like, okay, well, now they're down already. And then she ends up getting 3 outs, but they're already down by 4. So it's already 4-0, top of the first. Ooh. So, you know, we're all thinking, how is North Bay Haven going to respond? They put up 5 on Bozeman in the bottom of the first inning. So it's 5-4 heading into the top of the second. And we're all just like, we might have like a 20 to maybe 25 game.
Yeah.
Because we were just like, we don't know what's going to happen here. And then that second inning, Bozeman doesn't score. So now it's 5-4 heading to the bottom of the second. And then North Bay Haven rips off 7. So now it's 12-4. And mind you, that second inning took almost 45 minutes.
I bet.
With the amount of walks, the amount of with the pass balls.
Yeah.
it just made everything it seemed slower. So it was already, the game started at like 7, but we were still at the bottom of the second by 8:15. I'm just like,
oh, you're like, man,
this might be a 4-hour game.
Why is this taking longer than a football game, y'all?
For real, I was concerned because I was just like, it was going really slowly, but then, so North Bay Haven, they're up 12-4, and Bozeman, by the way, have gone through 3 pitchers now. Oh. Their starting pitcher, after that first inning, they took her out. Second pitcher, she was the second baseman, came in, she pitched the inning, took her out, because that second inning where they put 7, they were just like, yeah, if we keep her in, things could get ugly.
We might as well throw a pitcher machine in here.
Exactly. They throw in a 7th grader, Avery Obert, 7th grader.
Sorry to interrupt right there, interject, but that's really cool how Bozeman and I guess you got Rutherford in there as well, but Bozeman and North Bay Haven, they can utilize. I think that's really a really cool matchup when you've got teams that both can do that.
Oh yeah, I mean, like even Addison Mallon, she was pitching last year as an 8th grader. She's now a freshman, and it was incredible to see just the resilience from Bozeman, because in the 4th inning, top of the 4th inning, they rip off 8, and now we're tied 12-12, 12-12. And then for the next 2 innings, no one scores. They get on base though. Like we see maybe 2 or 3. Like bases were loaded at multiple points, but they somehow got out the inning.
Oh,
and then. It's
high drama, high pressure, everything you could ask for from a softball game.
The crowd was in it, both sides. Like, you could tell each out meant something.
Yeah.
Each pitcher was just like, we need this, we need this. And you just saw the tears were flowing, from both sides, because it was just like, Bozeman was up, now North Bay Haven's up, and now Bozeman's back. And now you're just like, man, I saw a bunch of tears. But it just shows you how much emotion, how much these girls actually care. And, top of the 7th, Bozeman had every opportunity to put some points up. Addison Mallon did her job. The defense did their job. And then, I mean, it's kind of impressive, or I'm just thinking back about it when Kaylee Goodpaster leading off in the bottom of the 7th. And I'm just like, well, what do you tell your 7th grader to, I wouldn't even know what you would even throw at her, because it's just like anything, and it could go over, it could go yard. And
it's like, don't worry, she's just going to be playing at Florida State soon.
Exactly. And lo and behold, she just rips one up the middle, gets a double, and then I believe it was Chloe Hill, who she hits the ball, it goes out to the outfield, the outfielder drops it, and then Goodpaster runs from second, and she's at third and looking, and she sees that the player drops it, she just takes off.
Yeah,
and I was
that
just like, Goodpaster versus this ball coming in, I'd put my money on Goodpaster. She slides in, scores, and 13-12.
What a game full of fireworks.
25 runs.
Yeah.
I asked both coaches. Bernard told me, he was just like, I've seen some games, but this one had everything. And then I talked with Coach Smith of Bozeman. He was just like, that's one of those losses where you put everything in it.
Yeah.
You can't. It's gonna hurt, but you can't even be mad, because he was like, when we came over here, all 20 of us on this team, we were probably the only ones who thought we even had a chance in this game.
Yeah.
And man.
Well, and then you go to the top 3, we're looking at a 12-4 deficit, right?
Yeah.
And North Bay Haven's got how many losses in their losing on the losing side of their record this year?
They've
3.
only lost 3 times, and only to teams outside of the state of Florida.
Yeah, so you're looking at that, you're like, we don't have or everyone else in the stands is like, we don't got, maybe even the Bozeman Bucks softball players were losing like faith that they could come back, and then all of a sudden that 8-run inning. You did such a great job of building the anticipation through your story right there, man. That was great stuff. Congratulations to North Bay Haven. Congratulations, kudos to Bozeman on a great season. I mean, really across the board, all of those sports are on the uptick. Keep doing great things over that way. And for North Bay Haven, we will answer the question, what is next for them, after we talk about our other softball team, local softball team that is still in the postseason, the Arnold Marlins. Totally opposite of a slugfest, a strike fest, a pitch fest, if you will, in a low-scoring game. Tell us about their win against Baker County.
Well, when you're Arnold and you have Bree Clark, you would expect, just elite pitching from her on the in the circle, and it was exactly that. I mean, number 4 Arnold went over there to number 1 Baker County, the number 1 seed in Class 4A, and 7 innings, 0-0. An absolute slugfest. I think the game only ended with, I think Arnold had 4 hits and Baker County had 3 hits totally in the end. But it was that 8th inning where the Arnold bats started to actually make some connection, and then they scored twice in the top of the 8th inning, and then Bree Clark sealed the victory at the bottom of the 8th. And Arnold and North Bay Haven, 2 teams where we saw them slug it out for the county championship. We've seen them countless times throughout the years slug it out, and now they're both in the Elite 8. It's something incredible to see. And now, I mean, these 2 teams, they have a chance. I think both of them have equally a good opportunity to win it all.
Oh, man. Both of them have a good opportunity?
I truly believe that.
Which has the... I'm not going to put you in a position.
No. I can answer that.
Who's got the better opportunity?
I'm going to be honest about this because I think Arnold has maybe the easier path.
Okay.
Because their next game, which is going to be the region final over there at Fort Walton Beach, they played Fort Walton Beach for the district championship. They lost in 10 innings, I believe, by 1. So I think a lot of people say, it's hard to beat a team twice. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. I think Arnold, they're riding a high right now, and I think that, when you see a team again, you have that kind of different mentality where it's like, we're not losing to these guys again.
Yeah.
We're not losing to these girls again. So I think it's easier. It's just easier for Arnold. But North Bay Haven, I mean, they have the bats to beat anybody.
Yeah, they put up a lot of runs. And then on the Arnold side of things, it's like Bree Clark, this is an opportunity for her to put the stamp on her senior season, on her career over there, being one of the best, maybe the best Bay County softball pitcher.
Is it really a question? 1,000 career strikeouts.
Right. I mean, and no one else has done that.
She broke the strikeout record, I think, like her sophomore year. Like she had 500 strikeouts like a week or 2 weeks into her junior campaign.
Yeah.
And she just got 1,000 her senior year. Well, what's the question of who might be the best?
It's called try not to be partial or anything. But Bree Clark, the best pitcher to ever come out of Bay County.
There you go. It's like saying LeBron's the GOAT. It just makes sense. It's fact.
Oh, I love it. If AG was here today, then that might have been met with a little bit more brushback, if you will. But me personally, I like people having different GOATs. And I mean, what LeBron has done in this league should not be overlooked, should not be overshadowed by any stretch of the imagination. I know a lot of the old heads probably don't agree with that. Hey, listen, I'm a MJ is my GOAT. LeBron's yours. I'm not going to sit there and argue back and forth on Michael Jordan or LeBron.
I'm wearing Jordans right now.
Hey, I was wearing LeBron's yesterday, bro.
I was wearing LeBron's yesterday. So you know what? See, when you actually have discourse and you actually talk out, people can actually be respectful. But once people are like, oh no, you say LeBron, no, that crybaby. I'm like,
I hate when it goes to that, because it's like, the crybaby aspect of it. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Michael Jordan was or was not a crybaby, but didn't he get a lot of calls that other players weren't necessarily getting?
Every superstar in every sport.
Jordan wasn't diving though like LeBron.
Well, no, but that's a good point though. Like, I mean, but it's also one of those things.
LeBron's been playing soccer the way he goes down, dude. The way he takes dives.
But that's the game that we play.
No, it's not the game. Dude. The game is to play the game the right way and not try to...
Okay, I agree with you. However, me and you are not getting paid any single amount of dollar to be playing basketball in the association.
That great, you don't need to do that, because your skill level alone will allow you to beat the player, and you don't have to fake a dive or an injury or getting hit or whatever to take the free throws.
To get under people's skin. Come on, man. It's so easy to get under people's skin with it, though.
Make a legit argument.
I mean, that's kind of like one of the right there. I guess my thing back would be like, well, I don't find that to be a legit argument. Like, you're a crybaby.
Played
like,
82 games. Okay, he played where there was hand checking. The game wasn't offensively geared for the offense to just score 130 points a game. He played was a lot tougher. Traveling was more tough. He played more games.
Traveling was more tough.
Yeah, I will say that.
Traveling was more tough.
I do have to
post 9/11 talking about traveling was more tough. TSA got created.
Oh Lord!
You talking about traveling was more tough.
It was, because they were actually flying in regular airplanes, and not everything was a charter plane, and they had to fly coach.
Oh no! Woe is me.
Oh, and these are 7-footers. Okay, have you ever
Hey, Jordan only played. Don't get so upset about this right now.
Have you flown though?
Michael Jordan only played 82 games 9 times in his career.
Fly in the 80s and 90s, okay, compared here to today and tell me about it. All right?
I can't. I wasn't bored.
You know nothing about it.
I can ask my dad and my mom. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Tell me about traveling.
Ask anybody that knows about sports
traveling
back
be
then.
brought up in this argument before ever. Traveling?
I will say that there's a fair amount of a point within there because traveling was a little bit different.
Nowadays. People are so soft. Get a spine, man. People are so soft.
What does the spine have to do with anything about this conversation?
Oh, because I had to take a regular coach flight.
No, but I'm just saying, like, all this stuff factors in. None of these players even want to play a full 82-game schedule. These guys were playing full 82-game schedules in a tougher league, and they had more, like, problems with restrictions, like, on traveling and stuff like that. Like I said, where it's tougher on their body and such than it is now, and these guys weren't having load management. The guys now are soft. There's too many excuses, and they're soft.
We'll bring that back up. We've got a long off season to talk about nonsense. So one thing that I enjoy the conversation, especially where we're not getting all flustered about the joy. That's when I had, like what you were saying earlier, that's when I just got to shut the conversation. Not saying that you were getting too flustered or anything like that. But people do normally get so up in arms about that. It's like I can't even read arguments online about Jordan and LeBron because it's just crazy. I like this one though, and we'll touch on this when we get back. Coach Mike says have Jordan's best two baller sons, which I believe he only had two, right? Jeffrey and
Junior, right?
Was it?
Was he have a junior? Michael.
Ooh, man. I mean, and you didn't play basketball, and your dad's name was Michael Jordan. Anyways, Jordan's two sons, I'll remember both of their names. No, I'm not going to remember. I'm going to Google both of their names during the break here. Going up against LeBron and his two sons, which is Bronny and
Bryce.
Bryce. Yeah, and Bryce might be better than Bronny. Mm-hmm. But so Jordan, his two sons, LeBron, his two sons. Who wins? Mike says Jordan wins. Are we talking about current Michael Jordan versus current? We're wasting time. We're wasting time. We might talk about this when we get back. We might wait till next Wednesday.
Bronny might not be able to make it for the game to be over. He might fall out on the court.
Holy hypothetical. I love that.
What if Wednesday, yo?
What if Wednesday? I like it. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We might play some buy or bell. I don't know what we're doing when we get back. I know we're going to take 2 minutes and we're going to think about it. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Wednesday. Mostly sunny the rest of the day with a gentle breeze at 11 miles per hour out of the southwest and temps near 80. Tonight we will have slight fog and mostly clear skies and be warm at 74. Slightly foggy in the morning followed by mostly sunshine tomorrow and a high 81. Some sun Friday with a temp of 83. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
7. Are you hungry for authentic Mexican cuisine? Then come to El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, where we serve up the freshest, most flavorful dishes on the beach. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, a great location, comfortable atmosphere, and happy hour from 3 to 7. Buy one, get one free, regular margaritas and 12-ounce house drafts. And you're going to love their lunch specials Monday through Friday from 11 to 3. Plus live music Wednesdays and Saturdays starting at 5:30. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, Thomas Drive across from the Navy base. And 10908 Front Beach Road.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. Hometown sports talk from hometown hosts.
People are loving it.
We're live and local. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
Are you kidding me?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're back in the doghouse. That doghouse built up by CBC Construction. You can go to cbcconstruction.com. They're looking for a few good men, so fill out an application, drop in your resume at cbcconstruction.com. You can also give them a call at 850-747-3815 for all your construction needs. Our call-in question of the day, call in, text in, whatever works better for you. You get one athlete, past or present, to join your boat crew for a day of fishing in St. Andrews Bay. Who are you taking and why? Boston Tim chiming in. He says you can really have fun with any athlete that's also celebrity level. But Dennis Rodman was different. I want to hear off-camera Rodman stories from the source. I mean, you could find out what North Korea's like from Dennis Rodman.
Ooh, I even think about like Wilt.
Yeah, what's it like to wear a wedding dress?
There's a lot.
Oh, you're going. You were saying Wilt Chamberlain in general.
The lore about him.
Yeah.
Is,
with the
women.
Yeah.
It's like, man, more than your career points scored. that's
I've heard some stories.
LeBron level.
I've heard some stories though of some other people that like the women that Will talks about. It's like not even close to some other people, like not in the sports world, like in music.
Like Gene Simmons,
and stuff like that. Yeah,
I mean, 200,000. That's what
I don't think I've even met 200,000
people.
I mean, like Gene Simmons, for instance, like his shtick that he claims is he never drank, never did drugs, so like his thing was women. So
that's a heck of an addiction, brother.
Well, like when you think of all the other stuff, when you think of all the other stuff musicians typically do on top of with women and stuff too, and that's his only thing was women. So
it's a lot.
So some people be like, "Oh, I'm going to go outside and smoke some cigarettes." He's like, "I'm going to go outside and
and find a porta potty or something like." My goodness gracious. Oh, let's see here. The Braves win finally. They're sitting at 500 now, 21-21. Drake Baldwin was huge last night. Hit a 2-run shot. Spencer Schwellenbach pitched 7 strong innings. The Braves are now at 500 for the first time this season. They won 5-2 last night, and the Nationals, I think, are at 6 or 7 straight losses for them.
Yeah, we're on 6.5 games back.
Yeah, no, it's
exciting.
I'm feeling the same as you right there. We got a Philly back there, so we got to contain our excitement a little bit before he's like, chop off. Man, just, you know what? I think what you're doing today is overcompensating for the fact that Adam Goff isn't here because we call AG the rain cloud.
Man,
and
I'm
I think
not compensating for nobody. I'm just being me, baby. Whoa, easy here, man.
Pump the brakes some more.
This is K-Man right here. I'm not making it for nothing.
Drake Baldwin was 3 of 4 with 2 RBIs. 3 runs scored for him last night. Austin Riley 2 for 4 with a ribby. CJ Abrams, great young shortstop for the Nationals, actually a native of Atlanta, homered on the first pitch of the game. But after that, Schwellenbach stepped up and kept the Nationals in check, giving up 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, and struck out 3. Dylan Lee came in, pitched a scoreless 8th inning. Pierce Johnson finished up, got his first save of the season in the 9th inning. Ozzie Albies, though, this is the key stat. He ended in 0 for 28 0 for 28 drought, 1 out RBI single that he had in the 6th inning over there to right field. The longest hitless streak of his 9-year career and the longest active streak in the majors, which, that wasn't the longest streak this year. It was just the longest active streak because what was Jock Peterson was like 0 for 41 or something like that. But he's started to come on a little bit tonight. Coming up here on ESPN Northwest Florida right after the afternoon underdogs coverage starting at 6. First pitch at 6:15. Bryce Elder's 2-2, ERA of 4.97. He's going to be going up against the Nationals' Mitchell Parker, who is 3-3 with an ERA of 3.97. So keep it locked into ESPN Northwest Florida. Let's do a little bit of. Actually, we haven't even finished. We haven't finished our locals, so we're not talking about Jordan and his sons versus LeBron and his sons. I mean, let's be honest. Yes. Bronny's in the league right now, but when what did Marcus and Jeffrey do? So we'll table that one for next week.
Yeah, but Jordan didn't basically get his kids a job like LeBron did.
See, this is what's wrong with them. They feel like they have to say something. They don't. You could have just let it go.
No, because you gotta let the people know that you don't think LeBron facilitated Bronny getting into the league. You don't.
So you're saying LeBron's a better dad than Michael Jordan?
Time out. You don't think Jordan couldn't got his kids into the league if he wanted his kids in the league?
He couldn't even keep himself in the league.
Oh, come on, man. Now you're just making nonsense.
Listen, this is coming from the supporter on the MJ side.
He came out of the league for a year because
of what?
He got banned.
And we don't know the truth behind it.
But we know that more than likely is.
But we know that he couldn't keep himself in the league. So you think his word was just good enough to be like, yo, look, I know he stinks. He's playing over there at Illinois or UCF, whichever one.
If he wanted his kids in the league, he could have facilitated and made it happen. Let's not kid ourselves.
All right, I'll give you that. I do believe that if he wanted to. So again, we're both in agreement. LeBron's just a little bit better of a dad than what Michael Jordan was.
No.
Hey, I mean, if we go off the court now, LeBron has said he said things where maybe he shouldn't have, opened up his mouth. But then again, he's a human being just like all of us. If we can sit here and talk about LeBron's and Michael Jordan's career, then LeBron can touch on other subjects. Yeah. Just because he's more popular and his platform is bigger doesn't mean that sometimes he's not going to, or that sometimes he might happen to put his foot in his mouth like we all do.
Some say Jordan's too hands off. He's too silent on some topics. So I mean, it goes either way.
Right. Well, there's that, and now we're going to be able to see MJ as a special contributor on NBC, which I don't remember. I remember NBC covering basketball more from the video games. More so than I do basketball being on NBC.
Like 80s and stuff. Yeah. Like long time ago, like 80s, maybe early 90s NBC type basketball.
You would know a long time ago.
We've got 3 minutes. We've got 3 minutes. I haven't even talked NBA with Angie. Daggum it. We're talking more about LeBron and Michael Jordan again.
Blame Rick.
I know.
Whoa. I came into that conversation way late after that, man, the last segment and the very end.
You had to defend your king.
High school
he's not my king. Trust me, I'm not even a basketball guy. I got sense.
High school baseball. How do the Arnold Marlins match up against American Heritage? They'll be playing Friday.
They play Monday. Next week Monday.
Oh, golly, that's when May 19th is? Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, so next Monday, we've got a while to prepare for this. Cooper and Eli will actually be on the Inside Drive tomorrow afternoon, okay. So that'll be around 12 o'clock. Shout out to Paul Wilson for making that happen. But how do they match up versus American Heritage?
Oh, this one's a tough one. They're a very good team, American Heritage.
I read they've scored a lot of runs.
37 home runs.
Whoa! I didn't see that factor.
They have multiple players with over 4 home runs each. And I'm talking about, when I say multiple, I say like 6 or 7 with 4 home runs each. And they have a bunch of pitchers who are undefeated this year. So it's going to be tough. Coach Jones even talked about their lefties. They have 4 or 5 lefties who they can pitch. So it's but I would say this.
It's almost South Walton-like. Is that fair? Comparison?
I mean, at this point, when you're in the Final Four,
But I mean, shoot, even Arnold, they got 2 guys going to Florida.
Yeah. That's one thing. I'm gonna big up Arnold right here.
Big ol', man. Big ol' for Benji.
Because it's true though, because that game against Clay, that second game where you see Josh Lindsey hit his first ever career home run to save the team late in the, I think maybe 8th inning, but the bats are going to be the key, because the pitching, we know what they have. I think Coach Jones told me that Eli is going to get the start, and then if Cooper need be, come in relief when he needs to come in. But
studs.
One Florida commit for another Florida commit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's riches right there. But I just think, their hitting has to be on point, because there's been times during the year where the hitting was not it. The hitting was lacking, and it showed, because they were on a 3 or 4 game losing streak at one point.
Yeah, kind of like 10 games into the season or so, maybe a little bit more.
They were
than
sitting
that.
at 7-5.
Yeah.
And Coach Jones was saying, we have a powerhouse in Georgia and a powerhouse in Tennessee coming up. The next 48 hours decides where the season's going to go.
Yeah.
And they win those 2 games, and look at where they are now.
Yeah.
So I just think the hitting is going to be crucial, because I believe in the back end and the pitching, they have that. It's the hitting, because American Heritage, 37 home runs.
37 home runs. They've scored a good amount more runs just across the board than what Arnold has. But both of them are right there and not allowing a lot of runs scored. Now, is this a game 1 and you're done, or is this a best?
One and done.
So football style baseball right here. And then also our friends over there to the west in South Walton, they're taking on Hernando. How does that matchup look?
Man, it's one of those things where when you look at paper, believe the paper. South Walton just is the better team. They've been the better team there. I think 14th in the nation. They're, I think, number 3 in the state of Florida. Like, I don't know, the two, I think they have IMG, I think, above them, even though they beat IMG, but, it's the name over, the reality.
It's like putting, Alabama's going to get in over certain things just because of the logo or what. And I'm not even talking just in football. I'm just saying the brand,
the brand
with the
itself.
SEC. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. But like South Walton, I believe South Walton's winning a state championship. Now, don't record this and then play it back to when they lose. But I'm just saying,
do that to you, Banji, but Rick might.
Without a doubt, though, like South Walton, they have everything. They have the hitters, they have the pitchers galore. You can just rack off the commits that they have. 6 pitchers who are just excellent. And one of those things when it's a game, winner takes all, they can put anybody out there.
Yep.
I'd have the utmost confidence that they can get it done.
There you go. So we'll catch back up now. If Arnold beats American Heritage, when would the next game be? Do we know that yet?
That Tuesday. So
it'd be boom, boom.
It's weird, right? They go from 3-game series to then you get a week off, and then you have Final Four championship game.
Yeah. Whew. A lot of baseball, a lot of traveling there. And then we'll wrap it up with one of my favorite questions to ask you each and every week. Who is Banji's Baller of the Week? We need to get that sponsored there.
Yeah, we do. I have to actually show some love for the track athletes this past weekend. They went down to the state championships in Jacksonville. And it got to be one of my favorite athletes I've covered since I've been here, Margaret Bartlow. Won a state title in the 3200 and actually finished runner-up in the 1600. But her senior season wins a cross-country state title, wins a track and field state title, and then it's going to head over to Florida State to run cross-country. I mean, that's as good as a senior season as you would want. That's my Baller of the Week.
Let's go, Margaret Bartlow. So great stuff, Banji. As always, so much fun having you in with us. Next week, we're going to dive into who knows what. Obviously, we'll be talking about Arnold on both sides of baseball, softball. We'll be talking about North Bay Haven and anything else going on, track and field, whatever. But, we definitely got to dive into, Jordan and his 2 sons versus LeBron and his 2 sons. And which one's the better general manager? Can you guys answer me that?
Exactly.
It's LeBron. Come on, hands down. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. It's always a blast having you in here with us. Banji Bombadella, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. Go sign up for the Panama City News Herald just for one reason and one reason alone. Read Banji's content. It's a slugfest every single time you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Hour number 2 up next.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
The Atlanta Braves are cooking. Riley in, Olsen in. Here comes Fairchild. He's in as well. Tie game. Tonight, the Braves return to Truist Park to face the Washington Nationals. Coverage coming up at 6. First pitch at 6:15. Listen in a rich audio experience on your spot for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Wednesday. For tonight, a variety of slight fog and mostly clear skies and a low of 74 with a gentle breeze coming out of the south-southwest around 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, mostly sunshine and slight fog with temps around 81. In the afternoon and evening, mostly sunny and a temperature near 81. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
So you've heard the saying that if you love your job, you'll never have to work? Well, it's true.
I've worked for Brock Lawn and Pest Control for many years. The commitment to the needs of customers
and their commitment to each employee makes Brock a company I'm very proud to be a part of.
Brock's core values are also mine. Give people more than they expect and always honor your promises.
This isn't a job, it's a service to help people live a healthier lifestyle.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting your family.
MLB is incoming, and you won't miss a game. Introducing Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most major markets. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Just $45 a month with our promo code ESPNNW. Go to ESPNPC.com and click the Scorpion TV logo.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. He likes to lift weights in a parking lot and eat Weight Gainer 3000.
I'm really starting to feel out nasty.
David Hayes is part of the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. It is hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes. We've just made a trade. Breaking news. No, we've traded out Banji Bombadella, who's awesome. Make sure you go to the Panama City News Herald and check out his latest content. Now we have Morgan Hilliard in the building with us. What's going on, Mo?
Oh, you know, every day's another beautiful day.
If I knew, I wouldn't have asked you.
I know. It's so beautiful.
It is beautiful, though. It is a beautiful day. The humidity is getting up there, but I love the summertime.
I wish it was just a little lower in the mornings, but throughout the daytime, it's perfect. We're finally getting back to true Florida weather.
True Florida weather, which, January 21st was not indicative of because that's when it was snowing out here, which was a lot of fun. Got a lot to dive into this afternoon with Morgan Hilliard. We're going to be talking college baseball. Then she's going to take us on a trip throughout the Burnerverse. We're live and local from the CBC Construction Studios. You can go to cbcconstruction.com or call them at 850-747-3815. Art, I want you to be thinking about this, all right?
Okay.
Call-in question of the day. You get one athlete, could be past or present, to join your boat crew for a day of fishing here in St. Andrews Bay. Who are you taking and why? I'm going to let you think about that a little bit. Then we're going to dive into our answers, the other answers on Facebook, and you will go last because we save the best for last around here. Tonight, after the Afternoon Underdogs, 6 o'clock, coverage starts for the Atlanta Braves versus the Nationals. First pitch at 6:15. The Braves baseball on ESPN Northwest Florida, brought to you locally by Bill Bird Kia, PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hewitt Tire and Auto, and Hometown Towing. You get one athlete, past or present, to join you on your boat for a day of fishing here in the St. Andrews Bay. Who are you taking and why is that? I'm going with, I've got a split answer, but if it was a coach, it would be Bobby Bowden.
Okay.
Just for the wisdom, the great stories that he would tell. Some of the greatest stories that I've ever heard from football, a lot of them have to do with players getting saved or coaches getting saved because of being underneath the tutelage of Bobby Bowden. So there would be some great stories there, great trick plays to learn about, and just great athletes that he's coached along the way. My athlete would be Larry Chipper Jones. Going with Chipper Jones, that would be my guy. On Facebook, we've got LSU Jeff, who's on the phone with us. He's going with Bo Jackson. LSU Jeff, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What's going on, friend?
Hey, not much. I was actually calling about the whole LeBron and Jordan thing that y'all keep on. Yes. Well, not just y'all, but everyone keeps on.
Come on,
comparing them.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, brother, and it gets under people's skin. And I love watching people get flustered about things that's like, I don't really care who you have as your GOAT. It's an opinionated subject. But LSU Jeff, I mean, go ahead. Do you want to wait till Banji's back in the building with us next week to just bring this up and grind everyone else's gears?
Well, no, not really. I mean,
Okay.
I just hate that one of the comparisons that people throw in the conversation is how many followers you have. And it's like, come on. I mean, look, I am 52 years old, and, 90-something% of the people that are around my age or even a little bit older, because really the Jordan generation is really right above my age group. We don't, they're not on Twitter. They're not on Instagram. They're not worried about followers of Jordan. I mean, of course, LeBron's going to have more followers. Plus, he's more active. I mean, he's an active player right now,
He also, he's active online, too. He just be saying anything.
There's also more of a population now than there was 25, 30 years ago. So that also kind of, helps out when there's more people,
True. So there's two things. Number one, nobody loves LeBron more than LeBron. I mean, he loves himself more than Rodman does, and Rodman married himself. I mean, come on.
Right.
And I will say one good thing about LeBron. I'll tell you right now, because I don't think he's a top 30 player of all time. No, he never cheated on his wife. You know how many basketball players cheated on their wife?
Whoa. Allegedly. We don't know anything. Allegedly, right?
True. But, I mean, the news has come out on 90% of basketball players. They all cheat on their wives.
That's why they have the
Including
Real
Magic
Housewives
Johnson.
of the NBA or whatever.
Yeah, and that's a great show, actually. That
Probably
is
the
a
only one here on
fantastic
this.
show. I've watched it, and I can say it always delivers.
I mean, we can talk about Pippen, Malone, Jordan, Magic Johnson. All these guys cheated on their wives. All of them.
Where does this conversation take us next, LSU?
Well, I'm saying that's the only thing LeBron has better than Jordan, because I'm telling you right now.
Well, we don't know that
conversation.
LeBron didn't. Hasn't he been implicated in the Diddy stuff? I'm asking you, Morgan.
I know there's so much going on.
Isn't that trial going on right now?
It is going on right now. And
Can you give us any updates on that?
Diddy the diddler.
Did he or didn't he?
There's actually so much surrounding the Diddy trial right now. Right now, for the most part, it seems to be a lot of just introducing known or now known facts and discovery and what they kind of think. There's not really a side to be taken. It's really just all the things that we didn't know about before. And I talked about this morning with some of my group chat, but Cassie was put on the stand. His ex-girlfriend, who at one point sued him for beating her up in a hotel.
Oh, that's where the security guard came in. I read too much. It was like one page, but that was too much.
She took the stand, and there are other details that come to light. But that's more so just kind of to speak to the kind of person he is, I think.
Are you talking showers or anything like that?
I don't want to really know.
Okay.
I'm good. I
Okay.
think I'm going to pass on that ship.
Okay.
But I'll wait for the next one. But
D7. Boom! Battleship.
But anyways, there's a bunch of other things that, that were happening to her that weren't able to come out in her first lawsuit. And even though she's already been compensated for those things, there's more to this person that no one ever knew. And they're really highlighting what he...
Oh, you're talking about the male escort.
Not only that. No, there's so many things. I don't think I could say them on the air and not feel dirty.
Okay. Well, then let's just move on.
You can write them down and I can say them. I don't feel dirty.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I can
My
help out.
goodness.
Hey, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I will say that there was there's people who are outside of the courtroom, and they are like outside in the streets, and there's news reporters talking about it, and people are walking up to these reporters and harassing the reporters because they think he's done nothing wrong. And it's just like, well, we can tell that you have been homeless and offline for a while. I'm so sorry, but he really did do these things.
LSU Jeff, my man, you got anything else for us this afternoon?
Shout out to LSU baseball for being number one.
Hey, there you go.
Hey, shout out and LSU
Yeah.
Jeff. It was really great to meet you the other week at the draft.
Yeah.
It was. It's almost been a whole month almost, but yeah, that was great. And you to put a face with the voice, it's kind of surprising sometimes. Like you meet somebody and you expect them to look like a different way and all that. But yeah, that was great. And was that your boyfriend that was there?
Oh, that was my best friend Strazzy. Yeah, we were having a time. Shout out Strazzy.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
Yeah, LSU Jeff, another way that you can see what the people look like that you're listening to is by going to Facebook and checking that out. But it is cooler to meet the people in person, no doubt about that, man.
Well, let me ask you one question. Do you think LeBron is going to retire next year? I mean, you think he's going to have like a farewell tour?
I think he will have a farewell tour. That's
no
LeBron as it gets.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he retires this year. I'm interested to see if he tries to play with both of his sons and gets Bryce to the league, and then we can, answer that question of LeBron and his two sons versus Jordan and his two sons.
Me and Brian actually talked about this the other week, and I said that I don't think he'll retire until he figures out like what he wants to do next. Because Brady retired, and then he ended up coming back to the league for a little bit, and now he's into commentating, which is great for him, and you're allowed to do whatever you want. But so many people take after their superstardom or the highlight, they take a completely different path, or they try to get something into the same. I don't think he's ready to just give up on it yet because he doesn't know what's next.
Gotcha. Okay, guys. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you for calling in. It's always fun. LSU Jeff, ladies and gentlemen, and his best of the week so far is that LSU baseball is number one. I'm sure we're going to be talking some college baseball as we move along here in the next segment, and we'll finish off with Mo's notes from the Burnerverse. But it's Wednesday, and we'll play a little Would You Rather. So, starting it off here, we'll kind of go in either the same order. We'll figure it out as we go. Why am I even talking about that? Would you rather take a 99-mile-an-hour fastball to the ribs or a blindside hit from prime Ray Lewis like Chad Ochocinco? Okay, man, Rick, you start us off here.
I think it's tough.
Yeah, it is. The more you think about it, because you're like,
I think the ball, man, because it's just like one small spot. Like you get hit by a football player wearing pads or whatever, dude, and get trucked. It's like your whole body. This is just one little area. So this might crack a couple ribs or something, or something
more
like
likely,
that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that hit that you're gonna get, it's probably gonna do that and then some too on top of it.
What you got, Mo?
I'm looking for less collateral damage.
Less collateral damage. I like that.
I'm also going to take the fastball because it's going to hurt way less the next day. I mean, yeah, it's probably going to hurt really, surely. But Fife Sports Media also says give me the fastball.
James is going, give me the fastball. Right State Chris, get tackled because I have gear on.
He didn't say you were going to have gear on.
Yeah. Well, if you're taking a blindside hit from Ray Lewis, you better have gear on, or else Ray Lewis just caught his second body. That's what's going to happen there. I hate getting hit in the ribs, though. The worst, the ribs, man, I've been hit everywhere, but the ribs might be worse than the first time I ever got hit was from a big, hefty lefty, and I turned around and just wore it on the back and had a huge bruise from that, but I've been pegged in the ribs so many daggum times. You know what? I'm going to cheat and take, I'm going to be wearing gear, but I'm going to take bubble wrap and put it all over my helmet, and I'm going to take the blindside hit from prime Ray Lewis. Will I live? There's no guarantees. Will I be concussed? There's a guarantee. Even with the bubble wrap, I will have another concussion, which I've had too many of those as well, and I might end up like a B. Would you rather live without music or live without TV? This is a tough one here for us sports fans. Morgan, you start first.
Oh, these are I love music, but I can actually ride without music, and sometimes it hits just right, but I think I'd rather live without music than I would live TV.
All right, so there's a caveat to this.
Yeah.
If you watch TV, you're going to hear music because it's in commercials and everything else.
Okay, fair.
So if that's the case, then I'll probably go with the TV because you're still going to hear music one way or another. You know what I'm saying?
I love how we put on our lawyer hats.
Sports and stuff, so obviously, listening to a game is not listening to music. So, yeah, I want to watch. So I guess I'd have to give up the music, unfortunately.
Okay, so my caveat on the flip side of that is if I'm listening to music, then that means that the radio's still working for me. And if I'm listening to the radio, then there will be sports on the radio. I would actually prefer to listen to sports on the radio than watching them to a...
Depends on who's describing the game and calling it.
That's exactly right. Depends on who's calling it. But radio, we work here at a radio station. I love listening to these guys calling the games for the most part. I'm going to choose music, though. I would rather live without TV. and I'm going to choose to keep music in my life. James Fife is going with music, and Brian Waddell says, who knows why Ray Lewis wore number 52? I don't know that off the top of my head, but it sounds like a fun thing to research. And Brian, if you want to call in, I've got 4 minutes till our next segment, and it's good to hear from you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Would you rather?
7.
Okay. All right, we'll go straight to 7 then, just for you. Would you rather go viral for a crazy fan moment on national TV or get a private meet and greet with your favorite player? You start us off. You wanted it. You go first.
Perfect. I would never want the crazy fan moment, because what if it goes disastrous, like that Taylor Swift fan who called in sick to work and then was on the TV with a blanket over her head and sunglasses? Girl, whoever was out there watching that you didn't want to know, they knew it was you. I'm so sorry, honey. I'm going to take the private meet and greet with my favorite player and propose to him. Thank you.
Oh, so before you answer that question, because you got someone on the phone, and that might be Brian Waddell, but Ray Lewis wore the number 52 in the NFL because he developed a push-up routine using a deck of 52 playing cards as a child to build strength. Is that Brian Waddell? All right, you know what? We'll let him finish telling us about that pretty unique story. Brian Waddell, my man, how you been, bro?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I've been good. Good to hear from you.
Hey, good to hear from you as well. So tell us, I just read the beginning of this, though, but tell us why Ray Lewis wore the number 52.
Body count?
Well, growing up, his mother was abused by I'm not sure if it was his father or her boyfriend, and he was too small to do anything. So he had a deck of playing cards in his bedroom, and he would flip a card over, and if he got a 10, he'd do 10 push-ups. Then he'd flip another card. If he got a 2, he'd do 2 push-ups. And he'd flip another card. If he got a jack, he would do 11. And he would work his way through a deck of cards every night and keep doing push-ups every single night. And he kept doing that every night until he was big enough to stand up to the man that was abusing his mother.
It was a stepfather I'm reading here.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I guess it was a stepfather. Yep. And he did that so he'd get bigger, big enough to actually defend his mother.
So I've actually done this routine before back in the day, and by the time that you're halfway through the deck of cards, you can barely feel your arms and your chest, and you're just drenched in soak. That's halfway, because it equals up to, I forget what the number of that it equals up to, but it's like doing 500 push-ups essentially right there. And then some people will up it a little bit where the face cards have different, it's not just 10 for the jack and the queen and the king and the ace, it's a different amount for each of those, so you're skyrocketing. But yes, I'm glad that you brought that to my attention, Brian. It was not only good to hear from you, but thanks for helping me learn something new today.
Yeah, that's a neat little fact that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, man, great stuff. Man, he's cutting out on... Oh, wait, hey, real quick before we let you go, how many wins do your Noles get coming up this season?
I'm going with 10 after the bowl game.
Do they beat the Tide in Tallahassee to start the season out?
I'm not ready to call that one.
All right, that's fair. Are you going to it?
It's good. I was, but I have a free ticket. I was going to go, but they announced it was 2:30.
2:30. That's
I'm not sitting in the sun at 2:30. I'm just not doing that.
Bro, and who's the other game? Is it LSU and Clemson? I think it's LSU and Clemson.
At 3:30.
Yeah, no. LSU and Clemson is at 6:30.
Oh,
yeah,
they're the night game.
Yeah, they're the night game. It's like, come on, you're playing. I believe. Don't quote me on this. They might be playing neutral site. They probably are. Are they playing in Georgia?
I think they're playing neutral site. Yeah, and then I think Texas and Ohio State also play that night.
Yeah, they do. They might be playing early in the day, though, because Texas, Ohio State, Fox got the rights to them, big noon kickoff, so they might be playing at 11 a.m. We haven't heard that just yet, but I do believe that LSU and Clemson are going to be playing there in the Mercedes-Benz. No, it's going to be in Clemson. It's not neutral site. So that's going to be at 6:30. I'm reading your...
I'm pretty sure I saw South Carolina at Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, okay. I don't know who South Carolina. Yeah, gotcha.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, 6:30 for that. I just don't understand if they're playing in Clemson, like let them play at 2:30, and then Tallahassee. Come on now, have y'all been? And they're going to be honoring Lee Corso and stuff like that. I would imagine for College Game Day. So that's it's wild. I don't know why in the world they do that, but it is what it is, and I'm not going to that game.
Didn't they give Notre Dame, Miami a prime time?
Yeah, I believe that they're going to be playing August 31st. That's going to be, so is that a Thursday? ABC will also air, will begin week 1. No. So they'll be playing at 6:30, though, on August 31st. Man, I'm really excited. So that's going to be, that'll be the Sunday night game then, right? Because August 30th is Saturday, so August 31st will be Sunday, and then you'll have the Labor Day weekend, or the Labor Day game, which is going to be North Carolina and TCU at 7 p.m. Yeah, South Carolina is going to be taking on Virginia Tech there in Atlanta. Hey, Brian, we got to get to a break. Thanks so much for calling in, man. Good to hear from you.
Hey, no problem. Well, you're always on my radio. Y'all take care. I heard you say Ray Lewis, and I was like, I wonder if Dave knows this.
Nah, and I did not, man. And I love learning stuff. Good to hear from you, bro. Take care now.
All right, hey, God bless y'all. Y'all be good.
Hey, God bless you as well. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're talking some college baseball with Morgan Hilliard when we get back.
Your attention, please. ESPN Northwest Florida reminds you it's the law. It's the law. When there's a double red flag, stay out of the water, stick your toes in the sand, grab a cold drink, and listen to live sports.
Swung on, miss, strike 3.
At 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Double play!
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Wednesday. For tonight, a variety of slight fog and mostly clear skies, and a low of 74 with a gentle breeze coming out of the south-southwest around 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, mostly sunshine and slight fog with temps around 81. In the afternoon and evening, mostly sunny and a temperature near 81. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
The fight for the 2025 season is on, and every win brings Braves country a little closer.
And the 1-2 pitch. And he is toast. Swung on and missed. Chris Sale starting out sharp again.
Tonight, be here for Atlanta Braves baseball live from Truist Park as the Braves look for a big division win against the Washington Nationals.
Braves at home versus the Nationals. Coverage starts at 6. First pitch 6:15. You're home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Call in with your questions, hot takes, and rants at 850-215-6290.
I'm sure that most of you have used a dial telephone before.
The Sports Talk Monster.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Come on now, you can't be listening to your radio right now and pretend that you don't want to go fishing with an athlete, past or present. Will it happen? Absolutely not. But you can still tell me who you would like to go fishing with out here on St. Andrews Bay, 850-215-6290. I'm going to take either Bobby Bowden or Chipper Jones for this sake, since it's an athlete. Going with Chipper Jones. Morgan, who are you going with?
He's not really an athlete, but I would take Pat. I think he is just I can't ever say his last name.
Oh, Pat McAfee.
Yes, thank you. I can never say his last.
Yeah, he was a punter.
Yeah,
he's an athlete.
He's not anymore, is what I mean. I would take him.
Yeah, he wrestles now, so he's not an athlete.
Yeah, it gets choked out on Monday Night Raw.
That's a hard disagree for me, boss.
I would take Pat McAfee.
That's
He's
a good one.
really funny guy, and I just think he's so entertaining. I would love to pick his brain for a little bit.
That's me stirring the pot. You know, they're just they're just stuntmen, glorified stuntmen.
Gosh, y'all hear that? Call in 850-215-6290. Give Caveman Rick some. Give it to him. And my guy was Chipper Jones. That's a past athlete, and it says in parentheses past or present. So Pat McAfee is 100% acceptable. Not many people would want to go with a punter, but hey,
I would take him.
Yeah, no doubt. I like that answer. I love it. We've got a lot going on today, and I don't want to take any time away from you as I normally do. So let's start here with some college baseball. What do we got this week? How did we do last week? Do you have that information?
I do, actually.
Yes.
I have it all typed up and ready to go. So Rick took the sweep last week. I'm so sorry.
He got every game right?
Me and him almost picked every single game. He had one more than me, and then NC State and UNC was canceled for weather. So that
the whole series was?
No, just like one or two games, but it didn't get played all the way through. There really wasn't a decided winner in the end, but Rick takes the sweep on last week.
Man, I should have threw some money on the Hard Rock.
Yeah, there you go, man. There you go.
Or something, man.
So how'd your Aggies do? Is that where we're starting, or are we waiting?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I've heard.
I would rather do the cinnamon challenge than talk about them.
Is that, you just eat a spoonful of cinnamon?
Yeah, and literally. I would rather do the cinnamon challenge than talk about the Ags. But we're here, so let's talk about them. What happened? I don't know. All I can tell you is that it's pain. I was having a bad day, but clearly it wasn't bad enough, because then I had to watch us lose to the only SEC team who was completely unranked in conference play and had never won a conference game at all. I didn't even watch Sunday's game, to be honest with you, because it was so painful. A lot of people had this speculation and talked about it, and I was like, oh my God, if this comes to be true, I really don't want to see it. But Missouri taking the sweep on us was just... what happened? We fell apart in so many ways.
Were the games at least close? I didn't see any of the scores.
It was terrible. No, we got blown out of the water.
They're the worst team in the SEC, aren't they?
Yes.
So y'all went
zero conference wins across the board.
That's what I was going to ask next.
And then to take us down, we're the preseason ranked number one.
Yeah,
you have all of these things happening, and then to get taken down by a complete zeroed out SEC comp, I was so painful I can't even talk straight. It was painful. But a lot of people are calling for Mike Early to be fired, but me personally, I don't feel like you can blame all of those losses on him.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you can blame all of that on Mike Early, and that's just my personal standpoint. Everyone has their own, but me personally, I don't think you can do that. You can coach guys, you can do all the right things, but when they're actually on the field and they're not turning plays quick enough, there's errors to be made, we're dropping balls, and how is he supposed to control what happens from the ball to glove to wherever it's supposed to go next?
Practice harder is the only thing that I can...
Yes. And on top of that, he can coach them to hit, and you can tell them anything you want to tell them, but when they get up there and absolutely nothing happens at the plate, I mean, how is he in control of the guys not swinging or, whatever they do up there? Right. Yes, you do have to practice harder, but at the end of the day, I don't feel like that really falls on him. They're the ones taking the pitches at that moment in time. Right. So, there's a little bit of leeway here. I don't think as a first-year coach and the contract he signed that they fire him right away. I think what you do is you look at this... obviously what I think Trev Alberts will do is I think he sits down with the players again for whatever reason, who knows, just ask them overall what they thought of the season. I think they talked to Mike early, and then from there I think you look at his supporting staff. And I mean, Jason Kelly, what has he done? What does he even do besides get on my nerves and everyone else's?
That's a pretty big deal right
Jason
there, right?
Kelly, what do you even do, big dog? Please answer. Call in.
Yeah. Here's the number.
But anyways, you know, look at Jason Kelly, and then they hired a hitting coach. You hired all these people to teach these fundamentals and work with these guys, and absolutely, really nothing was produced out of it. The best scenario I have with this would be look at our bullpen.
Yeah.
You know, we lost a couple of great guys going into this. We don't have Shane Sadeo. We don't have Josh Stewart, really good, competent arms. So we have our normal rotation as we've had through this entire season is Prager Friday, Justin Lamkin on Saturday, and Miles Patton on Sunday. You have these guys rotating out as they should, you know. They're competent aces. Every single one of them are. You could switch any of their days and they're still going to perform the same. But as soon as someone comes in out of the bullpen, there's the game. It's already been sold. As soon as they trotted onto the field, we just lost. And that's so depressing to watch that. If these guys who were starters weren't already pretty much somewhat developed over 75%, they would also fail. Because whoever we brought in as our pitching coach, very much it is Jason Kelly, but you get what I'm saying. But it's so... there's so much underperformance. Yeah, you have this great, talented roster and all these things, but if you don't develop these guys, you're not going to get anything out of these guys.
Yeah.
So that's my personal take.
I agree with you, too. I think that, you know, he took over in a tough situation, didn't know what the roster was going to look like. Yeah. Then, yes, came in as a preseason number one, but across the board in any sport, it doesn't matter where you start out at, how people think you're going to do. Then, you know, you fall all the way out of the top 25, rally back to get back into it, and then you have a tough series. I don't think that falls on the blame of the coach. Of course, fans are going to overreact and just dive right into let's get rid of them.
Especially A&M fans.
Yes. Yeah. Especially, what did you say, most overrated program in the SEC, right across the board. I think that, you know, pun intended here, I think it's too early to get rid of Coach Early. So
literally, early era, but I feel like the era didn't even get to begin.
Yeah.
I feel like it didn't even get to leave the station.
And, I mean,
truly,
that's...
also pun intended.
A very that's a good one. A very tough situation for them to be in, especially after the sweep to the worst team in the SEC. But they have a strong run in the SEC tournament, and they get into the... I feel like if you make postseason baseball, Texas A&M, the year after losing Schloss, then I think that he should retain his job for a second year at least.
I think you at least give him another chance. I mean, there's very few people who are going to come in this type of... I mean, this scenario is so specific as well.
Right.
To come into this type of scenario, to do this in your first year, have all this expectation. I mean, you can only give what you have, and you don't even know what the layout is really even going to look like from day one. I think you give him a little bit of a chance, and it's a 1 year. Okay, you were there, you were in it, you got to see it for what it is with the eye. You know, only you can take in what you see. You got to experience all that. How are you going to correct this in year two? And if you don't fix it, then okay, whatever. We part ways. It is what it is. But I don't think it's worth ruining a young coach's career just because everybody else predicted you to be this.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth that. And to me personally, I would honestly be kind of upset to not give him somewhat of a chance to redeem himself now that he has a year under his belt.
Yeah.
Everyone wants him fired, and for why? He didn't even get to prove anything.
Yeah.
He didn't even get to use his tools as best as he could, and look who he has standing behind him.
Caveman Rick.
A bunch of morons.
Oh. Wow.
Not
Rick's about to come in here.
not me. I mean, but, you know, like, he has a bunch of guys who are not developing, and they're not performing, and they're not producing our athletes the way Texas A&M expects or the fan expects. You have to do something with that.
How much of the staff was a part of the staff under Schloss, which Early was a part of the staff as well, right?
One man.
So only one
man.
guy was a part of the previous administration or regime?
Correct. And his name, I can't think of his first name, but Mr. Hutchinson, when all of these guys took off for Texas, he stood in and ran camps and did things that were already put on the schedule with kids, boosters, whatever. He ran the camps, sometimes 3 a day.
Yeah.
He did everything. He was an interim head coach, and he fulfilled that role, and he did everything that has ever been asked for him. And that guy deserves somewhere in the Hall of Fame at A&M. He really does. He has been there forever, and he has always done right by A&M. A&M needs to do right by him when he finally goes to retire. Actually, his daughter is their social media manager, and she graduated, and she worked exclusively with the baseball team, and she puts out great content. Like, we have a great media team that she kind of oversees, and, you know, that is a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
That is a really good guy, but he is the only survivor of that.
So do you think that Early needs to get rid of the guys that he hired and just start from scratch there?
Aside from Mr. Hutchinson, scrap everyone else. Bring in guys who have actually done something. Okay. That's what I want to see. That's what I, in a perfect world, would like to see happen. And then, learn from our mistakes. Let's tweak some things and move forward. That's all we can do. Anyways, enough about it.
Frazzled and dazzled.
That makes me so upset.
Yeah,
it was very
I don't
painful.
blame you.
But Texas, ever since we really were your Super Bowl, you beat us at home at the Dish and went to Fayetteville and lost and didn't have a great weekend going forward from there.
So Arkansas won that series against Texas?
Arkansas took the series against Texas.
What about the Vanderbilt series?
Vandy also took that series.
Did they sweep, or was it
2-3?
2-3.
Yeah, all of these same things keep happening, and it just is what it is. And it's even funny, one of the people who I absolutely loathe as a fan base of Texas Twitter,
nice word there,
had said, what happens if we sweep A&M at home and then go on the road and get swept by Arky? And that's exactly what happened. And this guy predicted this in February.
Golly.
Yeah, they were like, which would you rather have? Like, is it worth the price we pay?
Yeah.
And that's literally exactly what happened. It was really crazy. But you want to make some picks for this week?
Yeah, let's make some picks. Yeah.
Make some picks.
Jason Hutchins is the GOAT, says
him.
Parker.
That's him. I've got 18 Bama versus a number 23 Florida, who has just found a way to sneak in.
That one's
top 25.
That one's a tough one. I'm going to make the bias pick on this one. Florida's climbing back up towards Bama. Kind of. What was their series last week? Do you remember?
2-3.
Who'd they take on again? I forget who it was.
Remember.
It wasn't Mississippi State, was it? Was it Mississippi
Ole
State?
Miss, I believe.
No, because Mississippi State and Ole Miss played against each other.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah, neither here nor there, really. Was it South Carolina?
I don't remember.
It doesn't
honestly.
matter.
It doesn't
Give me
matter.
Bama over Florida 2-1.
Okay. Man, Rick?
Give me Florida.
I think I'm also going to go Bama in this one. So
Let's go. Roll Tide. You got to say Roll Tide any time that you pick Bama.
Roll Tide, am I right?
High Tide.
Oh, Parker says they played Vandy this
No,
past
I
week.
think maybe he was answering me asking about who won the series, Vandy or Tennessee. But he does say Florida's too hot right now because Vandy obviously played Tennessee.
Vandy did
100%.
take Tennessee. And, I will say that I feel like I have never seen every single weekend since matchups started of these teams going at it. At one point we had Ole Miss and UNC, and now we have Tennessee and Vanderbilt. I mean, these guys are hot off the handle, and I love it. Let them kiss.
Let them kiss.
Number 4, UNC versus number 2, FSU. Caveman Rick.
Give me FSU.
Who's FSU got again?
UNC.
UNC.
The rain's going to get them. Give me Florida State and little Sheffield.
Okay, I'm actually going to take UNC in this one. UNC is 37-11, and FSU is 36-11. I'm going to take UNC. I'm going to bat the other side of the box.
All right, let's go.
All right. This is a fun one because, you've got Mississippi State with an interim coach, and you've got Missouri who just took us to the cleaners. Mississippi State versus Missouri.
Give me the Bulldogs so that Leanne can come in here next Thursday and ring her. Actually, she's probably going to come in and ring her cowbell tomorrow afternoon.
All right.
I'll do Mississippi State as well.
I am going to see if these boys can keep it going 2 weekends in a row.
Bama played Georgia, by the way, according to Parker. So,
Yeah,
So you're going Mizzou?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's the right thing to do. You know, if you're going to beat us, beat everyone else.
They just haven't been doing that all year long.
Yeah.
I like it, though.
Keep it. This is a fun one and one we haven't really talked about. I have last on the list for picks, Arizona 34-17 versus Houston 28-22.
I'm gonna go with Houston's probably not gonna be wearing their great jerseys, but I'll take Houston.
I'll take Arizona.
I think I want Arizona as well.
Yeah.
I think I want Arizona as well. You know what? I think
Do you have rankings by them at all? Do we know who?
They're not ranked at all.
Neither one of them.
Gotcha. The last two picks, neither of those four teams are ranked, period.
Gotcha.
I thought they were fun. There's a little bit of controversy between Missouri and Mississippi State, you know, because of all the things that have just happened these past couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then Arizona and Houston just seemed like a really fun matchup.
There you go.
I kind of just pick off of, you know, the vibes.
There you go. Do you have any more picks for us to make?
That's all of our picks. I try to do 4 a week.
Hey, well, there you go. We've got 4 locked up and ready to go. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Coming up next, we're going to dive into the Burnerverse, unless you have any other college baseball. Burnerverse, Mo's notes from the Burnerverse when we get back. Keep it locked in here to ESPN Northwest Florida.
Mornings on ESPN Northwest Florida just got unsportsmanlike.
Windy is here. Brian Windhorst, ESPN NBA Insider, Hoop Collective Podcast.
I wish I was dressed like you guys. I'm jealous. I just want you to know.
Of the hoodies?
Yeah, I just wish.
We're actually wearing the Windy Airport outfit.
That's exactly right. That's exactly. The hat pulled very low. And it doesn't matter. People come up to me all the time anyway.
Evan Canty and Michelle. Weekdays 5 to 7 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Now, for a limited time, Krispy Kreme Donuts is offering the Krispy Kreme Pac-Man Collection. Featuring 3 new donuts and a custom Pac-Man game dozen box. Enjoy the Pac-Man Party Donuts, the Team Ghost Donut, and the Strawberry Power Berry Donut. Only at Krispy Kreme Donuts in front of HCA Hospital, 23rd Street, Panama City. And on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Krispy Kreme Donuts since 1937. Krispy Kreme Donuts, where you get them hot.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
But I wonder how much time he really kind of put into the playbook.
Where it's halftime all the time.
He may be the cream of this crop of quarterbacks.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Well, they got to do something here, but otherwise this is just going to be another lost season for them.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Hey, Pookie, it's the Burnerverse with Morgan.
I was talking in your Burnerverse soundbite. I'm sorry about that. You'll hear it next week, though. You'll hear it next week. You heard it. You put it together. I mean, it's.
Technically, Bone Crusher put it together, but it is incredible. It is. Hey Pookie, like in that voice kills me.
Did you? So you did hear it?
Yeah,
because I was talking too much.
It was so funny. You have to go back and listen to it.
Oh, I will.
Incredible. Let's start it off with something.
I gotta do my things real quick.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. Hey, this is the CBC Construction Studio. Go to cbcconstruction.com or give them a call at 850-747-3815. Atlanta Braves cover starts tonight, 6 o'clock, right after this segment. First pitch, 6:15. We'll have Bryce Elder going for the Braves. Atlanta Braves baseball on ESPN Northwest Florida. Brought to you locally by Best Way Portable Buildings, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Mid-South Lumber, and Brock Pest Control. And now we'll give it back to you, Morgan.
Beautiful. No notes. All right.
But you should have notes because we're talking Twitter here.
Are any of you, okay, let's save that one for last, actually.
Right.
Remember the woman I told you about on Tennessee Twitter who turned out to be like a 40-year-old lady and she was catfishing a Gamecocks fan?
I remember, like, kind of vaguely a little bit.
Okay, so this lady
was that last week that you were
It was a
talking
couple
about
weeks
this?
ago.
So I might
But
not have
this
been here.
lady was pretending to be someone in their like mid-20s, and she turned out to be like a 40-year-old lady. She was literally a catfish, truly.
Yeah.
She was a real catfish.
They were just noodling for her.
And that was just between, it's like, burnerverse kind of stuff. Well, then during the Tennessee and Vanderbilt series this past weekend, there was an iffy call on if the runner was out or not. And on TV, the announcer said, Callie will probably come back to volunteer Twitter before they figure this one out. I thought that was so funny.
Who's coming back to volunteer
Her
Twitter?
name was Callie. That was the lady's name.
So they kind of outed her a little bit?
They talked about it. Yeah. Well, she went by her real name and stuff.
Isn't that, like, against the rules of the burnerverse?
It depends.
Do you know burners who use their legitimate name?
Yeah.
Oh.
I do.
So then that's not necessarily...
That's not a burner. That's owning it. That's
No.
signing it.
No. There's variations to the name. There's variations. Like, there's people who will, like, use, like, little, like, bits and then have their name somewhere worked into it.
Oh, okay.
Like-
So they camouflage the name within a name.
Kind of, and I don't want to, like, out any of my burners.
Well, that's what the point is. So
like,
let's
there's
start
a guy,
with...
like the guy who predicted the Texas stuff against A&M and Arkansas.
Gotcha.
He goes by Nash Talks Texas. His name is Nash.
Oh, okay.
Like he works it in, and like people will work it in. So yeah, it's their first name, but you don't really know who these people are still.
Gotcha.
So like they work it into the name in a way, and that kind of thing. So it's like a little bit of a variation, but you still don't truly know who these people are.
Well, Callie, do better.
Anyways, let's talk about a guy who was found out completely, and not just by the burnerverse, but by the FBI, and was federally charged.
What?
Chiefsaholic, please come to the stand.
Xavier.
So, Chiefsaholic was officially finally sentenced for a total of 32 years in prison for his multiple bank robberies, mass assault, and his removal of his ankle monitor and going on the run for a total of 91 days.
That's a long time to get away, too, 91 days. But he was kind of going... I haven't watched the documentary, which is, what is it, Chiefsaholic, Chiefs in Wolf's Clothing?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
It's a good documentary?
It's so good. It's very informative. And it almost, I'm pretty sure, like, a lot of it, especially the bounty hunter part, that's in real time, for sure. The bounty hunter part, like, of course they had to go find the other stuff, but that was all in real time. I thought that was really cool. They talked to Chiefs fans. They talked to journalists. They talked to one of the women of his last robbery.
Really?
Yeah, and it's very informative. Overall, 10 out of 10. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. But it's a great documentary. To catch everyone else up, if you're not familiar with Chiefsaholic, he is a Chiefs super fan who dressed up literally as like the big bad wolf and went to all of the Chiefs games, home and away, was robbing banks to supply his lifestyle, essentially, and he was homeless and lived out of his car.
It's like the movie Point Break from back in the 90s, like the original Point Break, not the remake BS that, whatever.
Yeah.
But those guys were surfers that were robbing banks to fund their, like, endless summer vacation, traveling around the world, just surfing big waves.
Yeah. And so he's doing all this and robbing banks. He's robbed a couple in Iowa. He hits Oklahoma. He hits a few different places, and FBI ends up putting it all together that all the MOs match. And at 2 different robberies, he drops an article of clothing, so they're able to obtain his DNA to put him in all of these places as what he's doing. But he takes this money, and to capitalize on what he's stolen, he's a degenerate gambler. He put $80,000 on the Bills and Chiefs game. Well, the one where the Chiefs lost.
Yeah, so he lost $80,000.
He puts $80,000 on that.
And that's trackable, too, or did he do it through a bookie?
So they kind of figure out that he's laundering money through casinos, and what he's doing is he's walking into these casinos with all this cash. He's exchanging that cash for chips, and then taking those chips, cashing them out, whatnot. So it's kind of not traceable, but in a way you can't really, it's literally money laundering. And then, he's also supporting his mother and his brother, who I guess in a different timeline live out of their cars as well, which is really wild.
It's a family tradition.
I'm pretty sure he's like the main he's the breadwinner, if you will. And then
I got the Tahoe, I got the mansion on the family.
And then he takes care of them. But I mean, it's not like this guy was like really living a lavish lifestyle. I mean, he drives like a 1997 Ford. I mean, is
it a car?
It's a car, yeah.
Okay.
He drives like a 1997 vehicle up until he gets caught for the robberies and whatnot. I mean, yeah, was he kind of smart about it? But this guy was a distinct, like, after, I think, all in all, he robbed 11 banks at the end of the day. He robbed 11, which is crazy. I mean, in today's day and age, with technology and everything else, that's kind of an astronomical number.
Yeah.
With everything
with all the technology, social media, yeah.
And, and they first flagged him for the first bank robbery in 2022. That's when they say his first one is, but it goes back a couple of years. And I mean, technology was already pretty advanced through law enforcement around 2010 to 2015, if you will. I mean, they were really caught up by
how
then.
far his robberies go back?
Yeah, they go back to about 15, 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time to be able to, and then I can't even imagine getting away with it, but what's going on in your soul, like inside of you when you, what do they call it? Like when you're looking over your shoulder all the time, like
paranoid.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine that feeling.
But you know what's even crazier?
And then you're going into, sorry to interrupt, you're going into daggum Chiefs Kingdom and all of that stuff, and now you're popular on social media. It's like at any point in time that dime's about to drop.
Anytime, any point in time, you could be found out or get caught or anything like that. But he was just lit. He really was just riding by every day. And like, he lived for the games. That's what he lived for. He lived for these games. And like, he goes to all the home and away games for 3 years in a row. 2020 to 2023, he was at every single home and away game and went to Super Bowls that they made it to. And on top of that, whatever he made in that stolen money through gambling, he was going to galas and whatnot and getting official Chiefs artifacts and giving back to charity with this money, which is even wilder.
He was giving to charity with his charity.
He's buying memorabilia.
Yeah.
Money was going
to charity.
Yes. Yes.
So he's a philanthropist.
Yeah,
right?
That's a true entrepreneur.
What's awesome about this though is so during the time that a chunk of the time this guy was doing this, the Chiefs were on top of the world winning, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now he gets caught. Their charm, if you will, whatever's gone. Look what happened now. Can't even get past midfield.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I wonder how.
Let's see how that plays out this year.
I wonder how
I'm just saying.
bad it hurt to watch the Eagles win it this past year.
Oh, and sitting in a cell too.
Yeah, watching from a cell on top of that.
Ooh.
Man. I don't know if anyone, that's got to be the biggest fan in the history of sports fans.
I don't know.
I think you have to give it to him. I mean,
I think you could probably find fans somewhere out through history that have done more worse stuff, try to murder somebody or something. I would say that's a bigger fan than somebody robbing banks.
Yeah, I mean, but did those fans kill enough people or get enough from their killing?
If it's just one, dude.
No, what I'm saying is this guy followed his team for, what'd you say, 3, 4, 5 years?
Well, consistently.
2019 to 2022?
For every single game, yes. There's other games that they didn't document full, other seasons they didn't document.
I would say
fully.
the Wazoo flag guy from Game Day is a bigger fan. That's been
what did he do to put anyone in harm's way?
Well, I'm not saying that, but going to game days for 20 years straight.
I think that you get grouped into categories. There's a Texas fan who has been to every single game the last 15 years, home or away, and this is baseball, by the way. That's a lot of games, home or away.
Well, you're talking 30, 40 games more, right?
You're probably talking somewhere around 60.
Yeah, 60,
60, maybe 70, give or take,
how far they go
that season. He's followed them mostly his entire retirement, and that's a huge fan.
That's away games too?
Yeah, that's all of them. Home and away. He's at all of them. I mean, you've got like the Vandy Whistler who passed away, and then his son takes over. You've got
way to go. Keep that tradition going. We all love it so much.
You've got all of these. I would consider diehard fans, but this super fan category that sits by itself, where you're dressing up and you're doing all this extra, just to attend a game by itself. And then you add in that you're Robin Banks.
Living in a car.
This is crazy.
And technically, they would be diehard fans too, right? Because they're trying to die as hard as they possibly can to make sure that they're going and watching their teams play. My goodness, I'm intrigued to watch the documentary. I feel like when this was first kind of starting to surface, or at least when we were starting to know about it, Miles was always talking about this. So it's interesting to see how it's kind of come full circle, and he's just now been sentenced. What was it, Monday? 32 years, right?
32 years, and it's so crazy to me. He hired a defense attorney. I don't know, what money he used to hire this defense attorney, but the defense attorney originally looked at all these robberies, all of his combined crimes, and even says in the documentary that he's looking at a combined 385 years behind bars. Now, take that, he's prosecuted by federal court, but it takes place in Oklahoma.
Okay.
They do it in Oklahoma, and they prosecute him in Oklahoma, and they originally, the deal they originally came up with was only 17 and a half years.
And he took it to trial instead of taking the deal, or what?
Yeah. Well, the trial's still going on, and then Oklahoma judge says, actually, no, we think you deserve more than that, and then assigned him these 32 years.
Oh,
yes.
Got you. Because I'm sitting here thinking, if they offered you 17 and a half and your lawyer is telling you 380 years, which you can't live that long, but a life sentence, why not take the 17 and a half and don't take it all the way to trial?
I'm pretty sure they re-looked at that paperwork. I don't really know exactly how they came to this conclusion, just that they reworked it. And they were like, actually, we think we need to challenge you
How
more.
many years do you think he would have got if it was in Buffalo, New York, or say, Cincinnati, Ohio?
I have no idea. I mean, that's so crazy to me. My favorite part, though, if you watch the documentary, which I highly encourage you to, and I know we're getting close, if you watch the documentary, and I highly encourage everyone to watch it. It was so good. My favorite part is the bounty hunter, though. He actually gets he has to pay the $80K in bond that he posted for him, and that same day he posts that $80K in the restitution, they catch him in Cali. So
that's it for us today, y'all. For Caveman Rick, Morgan Hilliard, I'm David Hayes. Jesus loves you, so do I. Braves coming up next.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
I've always railed against Draymond Green. You can't let your emotions get the best of you where you're